A black student sits at the cafeteria table when a notorious school bully's eyes locked onto her, saying you clearly do not belong here, demanding she leaves immediately. The whole cafeteria goes silent as she refuses to move, standing up to the bully. As tension crackles in the air, will she back down or stand her ground? Stay tuned. Savannah James walked in. A different kind of silence followed her. The kind that wasn't natural. The kind that made her skin prickle. She gripped her tray tighter. The same food as everyone else. But to them, she wasn't the same. Savannah scanned the tables. Groups had already formed. And then there was that table, right in the middle. The table where only the boys with Letterman jackets and their girlfriends sat. She took a deep breath. Walked forward. She wasn't going to stand in a corner. She wasn't going to shrink. Savannah slid into an empty seat. For half a second, nothing happened. Then, what do you think you're doing? A voice, sharp like a blade. Savannah looked up. Across from her sat a boy with piercing blue eyes and perfectly styled blonde hair. His name was James Reynolds. She knew him. Everyone did. Football captain. The son of a judge. The kind of guy who walked through life as if it were his birthright. Savannah didn't answer. Just unwrapped her plastic fork. Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. James let out a scoff. Loud enough for the entire table to hear. You must be lost, he said. This table isn't for you. A few snickers followed. Savannah stared at him. It looks empty to me. James leaned in, his expression darkening. You don't belong here. Savannah felt her pulse thump in her ears. She knew what he meant. Knew the invisible lines kids like him thought were drawn through this school. Black kids at that table. White kids here. Oh, I get it, Savannah said, tilting her head. You think I'm from the other side of town. James smirked. Aren't you? Savannah's grip on her fork tightened. No, but even if I was, what difference would it make? James's smirk turned into a sneer. Because this is our table. Silence. A thick, suffocating silence. Eyes turned toward them. Then move, James snapped. Savannah planted both feet on the floor. Sat up straighter. No. A flicker of shock crossed James's face. Like he wasn't used to hearing that word. Excuse me? You heard me, Savannah said. I'm not moving. A few whispers. A few eyes darting back and forth. The cafeteria suddenly felt tighter, like all the air had been sucked out. James's jaw clenched. You don't get it, do you? He leaned forward, lowering his voice. Your kind doesn't sit with us. Savannah felt something twist in her chest. It wasn't shock. It wasn't even anger. It was something heavier. Something that had been passed down for generations. My kind, she repeated. James grinned, but there was no humor in it. Yeah, you know exactly what I mean. Savannah took a slow breath. She looked around, saw the eyes watching, the mouth slightly open, the ones waiting to see if she would just take her tray and leave. She could. She could make it easy. But easy had never changed anything. She stood up, not to leave, but to make sure everyone heard her. You think you own this table because of your last name? She asked, voice steady. Because your daddy's a judge? Let me tell you something about names, James. James folded his arms, looking amused. Oh, this should be good. Savannah's lips curled into a small smile. You see that new cafeteria wing? She nodded toward the glass double doors leading to the brand new extension of the school. The one the school just built. James shrugged. Yeah, what about it? Savannah took a step closer. My father built that. James's smirk faltered. Excuse me. My father, Marcus James, Savannah said, enunciating each syllable, donated every single dollar to build that wing. James blinked. A shift in the air. Marcus James, one of the girls at the table whispered. The civil rights lawyer? Savannah nodded. The one who fought cases against people like your father. James's face turned red. You're lying. Savannah shrugged. Go ask the principal. James opened his mouth. Closed it. His hands clenched into fists on the table. So James, Savannah said, tilting her head. Who really deserves to be here? The cafeteria was silent. Everyone watching. James looked like he wanted to explode. But he couldn't. Not with all those eyes on him. Savannah picked up her tray. Enjoy your table, she said. My family paid for it. Then, with her head high, she walked away. James Reynolds sat frozen. His face burned red, his jaw locked so tight it looked like it might shatter. The entire cafeteria had gone silent. so silent that even the sound of a dropped fork felt like an explosion. Savannah James had just humiliated him. Right there, in front of everyone. She walked away, her head high, but the damage had already been done. Someone snorted. A chuckle. Then another. James whipped his head around. "What's so funny?" he snapped. Nobody answered. But the message was clear. He was the joke now. Savannah dumped her tray, her hands still trembling. Not from fear, from adrenaline. She had stood her ground. But she knew this wasn't over. James Reynolds wasn't the kind of guy to let things go. And she was right. By the time school let out, word had spread. The confrontation. The truth. The fact that Savannah James, the black girl James had tried to humiliate, had shut him down in his own territory. She felt the stares as she walked to her locker. Some approving, some just curious, and some, like James's, burning with something much darker. He was waiting for her, right by the exit doors, leaning against the lockers, arms crossed. A few of his friends lingered nearby, their faces tight with tension. Savannah slowed but didn't stop. "Think you're real smart, huh?" James said as she passed. Savannah glanced at him. "Smarter than you, apparently." His friends shifted uncomfortably. James's lips curled into a smirk, but his eyes were anything but amused. "You embarrassed me." "No," Savannah corrected. "You embarrassed yourself." James pushed off the lockers, stepping closer. "You really think your daddy's money makes you special?" Savannah didn't flinch. "I don't need money to be special." His smirk dropped. If you're enjoying this story and want to hear more, hit that subscribe button now. Don't miss out. "Watch yourself, James," he said, voice low. "You first." They stared at each other, the air between them tight like a pulled rubber band. Then Savannah smiled, not out of amusement, but because she saw it, right there in his eyes. Fear. Not of her, but of the truth she carried. The power of it. The fact that his name, his privilege, his father's influence, it couldn't save him from the reality of who he was. A coward. "Have a good night, James," Savannah said, stepping past him. And this time, he let her go. The next day, something was different. The cafeteria still had the same tables, the same food, the same noise. But the invisible lines? They weren't so clear anymore. Savannah didn't need to sit at James's table. She didn't need a seat to prove she belonged. Because now, everybody knew she belonged anywhere she wanted. And as for James, he sat at his usual spot. But the throne didn't feel so secure anymore. People weren't laughing at his jokes as much. Some weren't even sitting with him at all. Because power didn't come from who your father was, or where you sat. It came from standing your ground. Savannah had done that. And now the tables had turned. If you love this story, make sure to subscribe. More powerful stories like this are coming, and trust me, you don't want to miss them.